Okay, I'm back. That's hopefully, back on my iMac, so I'm hoping to be able to edit and put this all together in some semblance. So I left off, I just showed you Lost No More. I forgot to bring in this. This was called Twice on WhipGo so far, and I think it has one more shot to go. It is Huckleberry Farm by the Blue Flower. I am stitching it with all the called for floss and on 16 count Shale Ada by Picture This Plus, which is also called for linen. I've got a hoop on this because I met my WhipGo goals. My WhipGo goal was 10 hours each time it's called. It's had 20 hours of work. Some of that work was ripping, but it's had 20 hours of work, and I have it back out and I'm working on it now just because I want to work on it today. So this is how far I've gotten. So since you saw this last, I've gotten both vines down to the bottom corner, so I've been able to trim my fabric. I've gotten that little bear holding the berries. I've gotten this upper bear here done, and I'm working today on this vine and all the accoutrements, all the berries and the flowers and things. My goal for this one is to get it done this year, so that's why it's out and I'm working on it. I started it May 1st last year for Mania in 2020. And I'm going to set this right over here because I don't want it to go anywhere. And it's on my board one more time. Yep, one more time. So it could come up on WhipGo again, but I did meet both of those goals. Let's see, what else have I worked on? So Land That I Love was another one. Land That I Love was called for in March. I did not meet my WhipGo goal in March. I will say that when I'm in session with school, it's difficult. But I'm going to show you this pattern. This is by Teresa Kogut. Absolutely love this pattern. I'm stitching it on 40 count Beach Brew by R&R. I'm using all the called for floss so far. I was thinking about substituting out the cream color floss, which I think is DMC, I will look, to a more white floss, but I actually like the subtle implication of the color instead of having stark white in there. So let's show you where I am. Stitching it one thread over two, like I said, 40 count Beach Brew by R&R. I already had this border worked out all the way to the other corner. What I worked on mainly is right here. So I've been working on finishing the boat. I did some of the twirling ribbons underneath the boat. I started working on a couple strawberries. I started working on the side border, was missing some pieces and parts. And I think I did a couple more letters of the alphabet. Loving this stitch. Plan to get back at it. I'm not sure, so it's on my board. I'm looking one more time. But I do plan on putting this in some sort of rotation, which is another thing we're going to talk about as we go. I am thinking about picking, and I've done this before, picking a few and having some sort of rotation going on, so that each piece gets several days of work. I like working that for a while, and then, I don't know, I fall off of that for whatever reason. And it doesn't matter, because I love stitching, so it doesn't matter. One of the other WhipGo goals that I met, it was called in March, was Emily's House. This is by Stephanie at Lindy Stitches. Love this pattern. I am stitching this with some of the called for, some of my own substitutions out of my stash. I'm stitching it on 36 count Ren by Picture This Plus. And I'm really liking the 1/2 on 36 count when it's a tighter 36 count. And I'm going to show you Southern Land next from Owl Forest Embroidery. I'm stitching that on a 36 count white linen that's very loose weave, and I'm using 2/2 for coverage. But this one I'm using 1/2, and I'm getting good coverage. And I actually love stitching on this. So I've got more of the house in. I put that crow in. So I keep working on the house borders and filling in and the windows. I think the next time I pick this up, I'm going to work on the border a little bit more because I love that peacock blue color. I'm actually using a silk. It is a Classic Colorworks, I believe, silk, and I forget what they call theirs. Hold on, I'm totally blanking. Oh, Belsois. I should have known that. And it's in peacock. And that's what I'm using for these flowers around the border, and I absolutely love it. So this will be coming back out. This is one of the ones that I can stitch in hand because it is a tighter weave and it's 1/2. And the linens got some substance, but not too much substance. You know what I mean? Like they can either be really stiff or really flimsy. Really flimsy, not flimsy as in cheap, flimsy as in soft. The 16 count shale from Picture This Plus that I'm working on with Huckleberry Farm, I have to put in a hoop because it's just too soft. It's beautiful and it's great to work with, but I have to put it in a hoop. And it has everything to do with my hands, nothing to do with linen. But this I can actually stitch in hand, and I actually thoroughly enjoy it. So that was March's Whip Go. April, I had 2 called. Southern Land was 1, and I've only put 1 hour into it so far. So this is still up to be put into, get some work done on it. Southern Land by Owl Forest Embroidery. I'm stitching this on a 32 count. I think it's just a standard linen off a 1, 2, 3 stitch. Hold up. Maybe I have a tag on here that will tell me. Probably not. Nope. It's just a standard 36 count white linen. I'm using all the called for DMC. And it's only had 1 hour of work on it. So this is staying out and in the rotation for right now. So not a whole lot done, right? It looks to me like this might have been a distracted hour because I think I only put in a few of these flowers in here and some of this blue right there. Still like it. I'm liking stitching on it. I'm wishing I had started on a tighter weave 36 count and done it 1/2. But I still like it, and I'm still going to finish it. So that is that. So that has 9 hours left to go to fill the... So while I'm on vacation, I may be able to kick that out. So let's look at... All right. The other one called for April for me was Pandemic Sampler. This is by Sarcy Girl. It was free. I think it's still free, the pattern. It is 2020 Pandemic Sampler. I'm stitching this on 36 count. Let's see. 36 count Zweigart Edinburgh linen in the colorway Old Linen from Extrude Designs. That's a mouthful. And I did get 10 hours in on this. Yes. And honestly, I didn't want to stop stitching on it. I did have to rip a bunch of stuff out. And I was having issues with my hands. But I got the border all the way across. And then what I was doing, let me get this all situated. I was getting a thread each on the roof and on the house and working a little bit on this border here. can't wait to get back to that one. It's funny when you take them all out, you fall in love with them all over again, you know. You have to excuse my hair, guys. It is Jeep season. So I own a Jeep and the top is down most of the time. So it is Jeep hair. I had to run to the store today. So that's that. So then May, Huckleberry Farm was called again. I already showed you that. That's had that 10 hours of work. And then the other one that was called was the Pandemic Sampler by Long Dog. And I'm stitching this with a hank of black silk from Mrs. Sadis. Let's see, I have it all right here. I don't know if you can even see that next to me. There you go. Nice rich black. Let me show you the picture of the pattern. What's this? It was free. It's now up for purchase on their website. I am stitching this on 40 count Heartland. I picture this plus, and this is another one that I can stitch in hand, and I do. This has only had 1 hour of the 10 so far. But let's see if we can get it. There we go. This is quite a big piece. You see, I just leave my threads there when I stop. So I was working on these berries. I think I had this mouse in last time I showed it to you, and I was mainly working on this center motif here. But I only had a few minutes. I think it was a little less than an hour that it got. I thoroughly enjoy stitching on that as well. And that has 9 more hours to go. It also is on my board 2 more times. So if I just stick to my Whip Go things, it's going to get a total of 30 hours just for Whip Go. So in June, they called number 1 and number 17. So I'm going to show you number 1 was Kringles for me. It is Kringles by Little House Needleworks. I'm stitching this with the called for, actually I don't think it's the called for fabric. It could be. It's 30 count Parisian gray with all the called for floss. I've only put in 1 hour so far. So what I've been working on, yep, 30 count Parisian gray legacy linen. I've been working on the roof and the snow. Let me hold it up like this. And so I've just been kind of working across here and working on the center window. I think I'm going to concentrate on the roof because I think that's the most pain in the butt part because it's very repetitive. And I don't like stitching white like this. So I figure if I concentrate on the roof during the Whip Go and get that done, then that'll be done and then I don't have to worry about it. That's kind of where I'm at. The other one that was called was the Mushroom and Fern. So I'm going to show you that. Let me get rid of a couple things here. This goes there. I have to take my chart off of it because I do not want you to see the chart. Oh, one more thing before. So I've also been working on the Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along for 2021. I am behind. Have not finished April's yet. And I'm just going to show you with the hoop. That's kind of where I am. I'm kind of working on April's and May's concurrently. And June's has already been released. So that will come back out and get worked on more, I think, while I'm on vacation. Alright. So I showed you that. Let me show you the Mushroom and Fern. I'm going to get my chart off of here. I have it right next to me sitting on a stand because I stitch in here when I stitch on it. Okay, I'm going to show it to you like this. I've been working down here. So I've gotten all of this. I'm working this tree trunk up, and I'm working this over so I can get ready to scroll. So that would be the duplicate of what's over here. And I'm hoping you can see it. Except it'll be different mushrooms on that side. So nowhere near as much progress as I was hoping to have done by now if I had worked on it every day in May. But I'll be working on it a little bit today. That's my plan. And trying to get some of the hours in for the whip go while I'm on vacation. So that being said, that's all my whip progress for that stuff that was scheduled. Now, I had a ton of stuff that was not scheduled. I had ordered the Mandalorian cross-stitch box from Forbidden Fiber Co. Let me take this out of the bag. It came with this pattern, designed by her. We are Mandalorian fans in this house. It came with the fabric of my choice, which I chose. What did I choose? The sticker's not on here anymore. It's the called for fabric. Hold on. It is Edinburgh linen, 36 count in the colorway Tumbleweed, dyed by Forbidden Fiber Co. And it came with all of the hand-dyed floss by Forbidden Fiber Co. to stitch it. And so I started it. Let me get it out. I just have a small start. I started on the Baby Yoda. And there he is. Can't make much out right now. You will be able to when I, yeah. I started him. It's not the only thing I started, but it is the smallest thing I've started. Here we go. So, for Mother's Day, I had been looking at this kit at Hobby Lobby. My husband bought me this kit from Hobby Lobby. It's a Riolas kit, Starry Night. I'm using all of the kit materials, and I did start it on Mother's Day. So I'm going to just show you really quickly my small start. I have threads all over the place. So sometimes when I do full coverage, I park threads. Sometimes I do not. This time I'm parking threads, and you're not going to be able to make out the pattern from what I'm showing you here. So I've only got, let's see if I can get this better. I seem to have issues showing you stuff today. Maybe I shouldn't wait so long between Flosstube videos. There you go. It doesn't look like much yet, but it will. So I started that. So that's start number 2 for the month of May, right? This month when I wasn't supposed to be starting anything. You guys remember that? Yeah. So that's that. You ready for start number 3? Okay. This one's not as crazy, but it's still big. This one's still big. I started, let's see if I can find the cover page here. Let's pull this out of here. I only have a small start here. Let's see if I can find the cover. There it is. Of course, if my fingers would work, that would be great. I started on Memorial Day. I started Liberty's Welcome by Plum Street Samplers. I'm stitching this on 40 count. I think this is Winter's Brew, and I have a very small start. Just started the house. I figured I'd start the house. It's the biggest thing on the whole project, so why not start there? So that's what? Are you counting? Start number 3. Okay, start number 4. And honestly, I can't remember where I got this pattern. It was off of Etsy. I should have looked it up. It was this huge Disney thing. I don't remember where I got the pattern. I think it was from Popular Cross Stitch. But I'm not sure. As you can see, I'm stitching it on 32 count, easy count fabric, Lugana. And I have a very small start, starting in the upper left, as I always do, right there. So that's start number 4. I'm not done. I don't know if that one was from Popular Cross Stitch. I don't remember where that was from. I'll figure it out and show you next time, if I have progress to show you next time. The next one I bought was from Popular Cross Stitch. It's called Disney Cancel. Don't ask me, I'm on a Disney kick, and I have no idea why, except I want to go back to Disney in a big way. And this, I started because there's like 28,000 stitches of that blue in the top. And I'm stitching this on 18 count Aida that I'm gridding myself. And that's my progress. So that's start number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have one more. So I started 6 things in May when I wasn't supposed to be starting any. And have you counted how many of them are full coverage? Yeah, there is no helping me. I can tell you that. I have one more that I want to show you. It's my Stitching with a Housewives bag, because this travels with me. This is Star Wars characters. This is from Popular Cross Stitch. I'm having the same problem with this pattern that Leanne from Leanne Stitches is having with her superheroes pattern. I'm having to import this 1 page at a time into Pattern Keeper, which makes Pattern Keeper is a game changer as far as stitching. So as long as I can get in there, I don't care. But it goes in 1 page at a time. This is also on 18 count Aida that I'm gridding myself. And that's it so far. Yeah, but I thoroughly, you know, sometimes I'm just in the mood for full coverage, and that's it. So I have another full coverage started that was bonded by the rain, but I haven't worked on that in a little bit. So I think eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, kind of similar to things I've done before, is I've had, sorry, my hair is bugging me. I've had a sampler going, a full coverage, a small going, and I kind of rotate in between them, and then hopefully get a finish. Well, I've never followed through long enough for it to be a finish. But I'm very much a seaweed. I stitch what I want when I want. I do it purely for the enjoyment of stitching, not so much anything else, or to have finishes up on the wall. However, I would like to have some things finished on the wall. So my plans going forward are to keep working on modern folk embroidery. I don't really have a plan that that's going to ever be caught up until they stop releasing parts, which will be in December. And then I'll be able to catch up on it. But I don't want to get so far behind that it's a huge deal. So I want to keep working on that a couple days a week. I will continue to work on my Lost No More in the mornings for my coffee stitch. And then I'm going to continue to work on my Whip Go goals. And then once the Whip Go goals are done, I will revert back to some of them to give them more love so that they can maybe get finished. That's my plan. But I wanted to show you some things I've gotten. And then I can put these away. So I told you that I'm part now of Be Stitch Me's Fabric of the Month. I think it's neutrals that I signed up for. Yep, neutral. This is called Stonehenge. This is I've requested a 36 count. And that's pretty true to color right there, which surprises me with this lighting. Love it. Absolutely love this. Not sure what I'm going to stitch on it, but I do love the fabric, and I will find something to stitch on it. The rest of what I've gotten has been patterns. So this is from Just Stitching Along. This is Miss Lucy Calcut, 1825, and I'm going to tell you a story about this. I'm not taking it out of the wrapper, but it is beautiful. I'm hoping you're not getting as much glare as I think you are. And I also got Miss Lucy Calcut, 1826. So, story. I have a huge piece of linen, and I think I'm going to stitch both of these on the same linen. Number one. I walked into my local needlework shop, which is, my local needlework shop is Hobby House Needleworks, and many of you order from them. They had these two done and framed and sitting on top of the mantle just as you walk into the building. And that was all it took. I mean, look at the colors in these things. I'm all about the bright colors. Look at this one. I mean, come on. And I say this every time I buy a pattern that it's on the short list for the next one to start. I got to get some things finished, and then I'll be starting some more stuff. I also bought, so I'm not really a Mirabilia girl. However, I do have Queen of Freedom that I'd like to start soon. But I did fall in love with, I think this is called Royal Holiday. Yes, Royal Holiday, A Christmas Queen by Nora Corbett. And then I got this one, Tree of Hope by Nora Corbett, and I absolutely fell in love with that one. Any shocker? Have you guys noticed the tattoo on my arm? Yeah, Tree of Hope. And I think, I mean, it's mostly DMC. It's got a few Karen water lilies and some Mill Hill beads, so I have to acquire those, but I'm going to do it in all the called for. The fabric is a 32 count neutral brown linen called for by Witch Out, so I could easily acquire that, I'm pretty sure. And for this one is a chestnut linen by Witch Out, and I like the looks of that as well. So I'm probably going to do those in the called for and not mess with them too much. The last pattern that I acquired is Always Remember by Plum Street. This will come to no shock to everybody. I'm a veteran. I'm very patriotic. And just a note here, because I think sometimes when you say you're patriotic, it gets a bad rub from some people. So to be patriotic is not to say that this country is not having some issues. Being patriotic is the dedication to protect this country and the rights that we all enjoy. So I just want to put that out there. When I say, I can only speak for myself, but when I say I'm patriotic, it is a dedication to this country and to do what I can in my small part of the world to make it a better place, or the place that it should be. But I know in these times, saying that you're patriotic gives somebody a bad rub. That's not the intent. So, and if you've watched me long enough, you already know that, because I'm pretty open with all my stuff. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to hopefully splice these two parts together, and it's going to be good. I really hope everybody's enjoying their stitchy time, and forgive the disjointedness of this video, but I really did want to try to get one out for you. It's been way too long, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day stitching and creating all the things, and I hope you get some joy out of your stitching today. Thank you for everybody that's returned to watch me. Thank you for all my new subscribers. And I'm still in the under 1,000 sub club, whatever that is. I've heard about that on Flosstube. So if you think to subscribe to get me up to 1,000, that would be great. But comment below. Once I get to 1,000, there'll be a big giveaway. Big. Bye, guys.